Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We're all about keeping you ahead of the curve when it comes to AI, and, well, let's be honest, things are moving crazy fast these days.
It's definitely keeping things interesting.
It really is. So we're strapping in for a close look at Google's latest announcement, straight from the Google developers blog. Their Gemini AI models just got a big upgrade.
A firmware update for artificial intelligence. Always exciting stuff.
Right, and they really did not hold back on this one. First up, they're releasing two updated Gemini models, Gemini 1.5 Pro 002 and Gemini 1.5 Flash 002. But get this, they're also dropping the price of that Pro version by more than half.
That's huge. Lowering the cost, that means more developers, more researchers, even just AI enthusiasts can actually get their hands on this technology. It could really shake things up.
Totally.
Ah,
And if that wasn't enough, they're also saying these new Geminis are twice as fast with like 3 times less lag.
anyone who's ever waited for an AI to process something is breathing a sigh of relief right now.
For sure. Time is money, especially in the development world.
Absolutely. Imagine being able to process those massive data sets in hours instead of days. Or building an AI-powered app without needing a supercomputer.
Okay, so faster and cheaper is always good news.
hmm
But I'm not gonna lie, I always get a little lost with all the different types of AI models.
You and me both.
Can you break down the whole Pro versus Flash thing for us?
Sure, think of Pro like that marathon runner, built for endurance. It can handle really complex data-heavy tasks. So if you're training an AI on a massive data set or need it to analyze something super intricate, Pro is the way to go.
So like if you were trying to get an AI to understand the entire tax code, you'd want the Pro version.
Exactly. Flash, on the other hand, it's more like a sprinter. It's all about speed and efficiency for things like chatbots, real-time translation, anything where you need a quick response.
Okay, so Pro is the deep thinker. Flash is quick on its feet.
Oh.
Got it.
A good way to think about it. And here's where it gets really interesting with these new Gemini models. They're multi-talented. This isn't just about text processing anymore. They can handle text code images, even video. It's like they're the Swiss Army knives of AI now.
That's what really blew my mind when I saw the blog post.
Yeah.
They're giving some pretty crazy examples, like these Geminis can analyze a 1,000-page document or understand an hour-long video without breaking a sweat.
Things that would take humans forever, even for teams of people. It really makes you think about the future, doesn't it?
No kidding.
Yeah.
But it's not just about speed, is it? Google's also saying this new generation is just smarter overall. They're talking about a 7% improvement on the MMLU Pro benchmark, whatever that is.
Yeah, most people probably don't know what that is. Think of MMLU like the SAT exam, but for AI, it's a huge test that covers tons of different subjects and evaluates the AI's overall knowledge and reasoning skills, and a 7% jump at that level.
Doesn't sound like much about it.
It's huge. We're talking about an AI acing an already incredibly hard test and then somehow acing it even harder. Oh, and it gets better. They've made even bigger leaps with their math capabilities, a 20% improvement. That's got to mean something.
Okay, now I'm really curious. What's with the focus on math? What are they planning?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Makes you wonder what they're cooking up. But while we're on the topic of things that make you wonder, there's this other thing in the blog post that caught my eye. They've added these updated filter settings and are really focusing on safety now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? We're talking about some seriously powerful AI here. It's like they say, with great power comes great responsibility or something like that. But what does that actually mean when we're talking about AI?
It's the million-dollar question right now. It's something the entire field is trying to figure out. These AI models, they learn from massive amounts of data, and, well, that data, it's a reflection of the real world, good and bad. So there's always the risk of the AI picking up biases or even creating harmful content.
So it's like teaching a kid without giving them a moral compass.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. These AIs, they don't just know right from wrong. They learn from what we show them. So these filters are important. They're like guardrails keeping the AI on track.
But how do you even start teaching an AI about right and wrong? What's harmful and what isn't? I mean, it's not always easy even for people to figure that out.
It's not easy at all. It's not like there's just one button you can push. It takes a lot of work. Carefully choosing the training data setting, clear rules for the AI, and then constantly watching and adjusting its responses.
So it's an ongoing process, kind of like raising a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where these updated filter settings come in Google, is basically giving developers more control over those guardrails that we were just talking about.
That's what really stood out to me in the blog post. So what does that mean? Why is it important?
Well, it seems like Google is moving towards more transparency and customization. They're basically saying, we trust you developers to use these powerful tools responsibly.
But is that a little risky?
Yeah.
I mean, more control in the right hands could be amazing, but what if it's in the wrong hands?
Definitely a double-edged sword. On one hand, giving developers more control could lead to amazing new things we haven't even thought of yet. But it also comes with a lot of responsibility and, yeah, the potential for misuse.
It's exciting, but a little scary, too.
For sure. And it brings us back to that big question. Are we making ourselves more powerful with AI, or are we heading into the unknown?
It's a question we can't forget about. And speaking of the unknown, there was one more thing in that blog post that caught my eye. Something about an experimental 8B model.
Mm.
What is that all about?
Oh, yeah, that's got everyone talking. The 8B probably means 8 billion parameters. Parameters are like the building blocks of an AI's brain. More parameters means more complexity, more power.
So this 8B model is like a supersized version of the already super impressive Geminis.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're calling it experimental is interesting. It means they're still figuring out how to control and optimize that much AI power.
Like trying to contain an explosion of intelligence.
Something like that. But the good news is Google is actually asking for feedback from users to help them develop these models.
That's a good sign, right? They're not just throwing this powerful AI out there and hoping for the best. They're actually listening to the people who will be using it.
Exactly. They understand that the future of AI isn't just about what they decide. It's about working together, developers, researchers, users, all of us.
It's reassuring to know they're not going at it alone.
Yeah, it really emphasizes how important this moment is for AI. We're not just talking about making algorithms better. It's about really understanding what those algorithms mean, what they can do for us, and also what they could do to us, and, how to handle all of that responsibly.
It's a tightrope walk, for sure. But thinking about everything we've talked about, the speed, the cost, the fact that these new Geminis can do so much, it's pretty exciting when you think about the possibilities.
Oh, absolutely. We could see huge advancements in medicine, education, research, you name it. But like we said, there's always that other side too. And that's the conversation we can't afford to ignore. As these AI systems get smarter, as we give them more freedom, more power, how do we make sure they're used for the right reasons?
The million-dollar question. And I don't think there's an easy answer. But I do think it's a good sign that Google is building in ways to get feedback, that they're involving everyone in the process. It shows that they're aware of the risks and hopefully that they're committed to doing this responsibly.
I agree. And that's a good takeaway for all of us. This new era of AI, it's not just about watching it happen. We all have a part to play in making sure it goes the right way, whether we're developers, researchers, people making policy, or just people who are curious, staying informed, being part of these conversations, and demanding transparency and accountability. Those are the things that matter.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah. It's not enough to just be amazed by the technology we have to understand how it's going to affect our lives, our world, our future.
Yeah.
And that's something worth thinking about.
Absolutely.
Well, I think we've done our part for this deep dive. Big thanks to you for breaking down these complicated topics in a way that actually makes sense.
Happy to do it. Always a good conversation.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this journey into the ever-changing world of AI. Just remember, the future isn't set in stone. We're all creating it together, one algorithm at a time. So stay curious, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.